Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got another exciting review for you. What I'm going to be reviewing today for you is actually a slider. This is going to be the first slider that I've reviewed, so I'm pretty excited to tell you what my thoughts are. But it's the Studio FX 48-inch Pro DSLR camera slider dolly track video stabilizer. So if you're looking for this, you can go on Amazon.com, which is where I buy a lot of my gear, that and B&HPhotovideo.com. If you just search Studio FX slider, I'm sure it'll come up. The reason why I went with the 48-inch version is because I wanted to have the maximum length possible in order to do nice glossy slides with it, or dolly shots or tracking shots. And this slider was actually only $120, which is amazing because sliders can get pretty pricey. So I can just tell you that overall, this is a very nice slider, especially for the money. And I'll show you some test footage that I took actually out at a resort that I was just shooting some marketing videos for out in Zion National Park. And so we'll get to that in a minute, but let's talk a little bit about the features of this slider. So you'll see that there's a bag here. It actually came clean. I did this when we went down to Zion National Park to shoot. It's very dirty, but the case is actually padded. It's got a strap that you can Velcro together, as well as a shoulder strap that is extendable. So that's really, really nice because 48-inch long bags can be very awkward to handle. So here's the actual slider. It does have a level on it, a bubble level, which is really cool. And it has this tightening knob here. So you can actually tighten it down and then it won't go anywhere. And then you can loosen it up. So it actually comes with this little bag full of little goodies. So these little pieces right here actually will go onto, they screw onto the bottom of the track here on the sides. And then you can actually put this on a tabletop or wherever you're shooting, on the ground. And actually these are extendable and you can tighten it on top and then extend out the bottom, which is pretty cool. I don't use those, honestly, so they look pretty nice. They look like they'd work just fine. I actually stick it on a tripod. Just so you can sort of reference this, this is actually the Sherpa 200R by Velbon. This is the tripod that I actually just remove the fluid head of. And then I'm able to screw this straight onto the bottom. They actually have two different thread types. Yeah, they have two different thread types here on both sides, so it'll fit different kinds of tripods. And then this guy right here will actually, with my adapter on there, it will screw right onto the top here. We can tighten it down a little bit, and then we're able to move this tripod head around, angle it however we'd like to. We also then get the quick plate function of this top part. We can switch it out to a tripod if we need to quickly, and then we can just slide this back and forth. So one thing that I noticed right off the bat when I got it was that it seemed to be a little tight in certain areas. So the track actually was not perfectly straight and parallel throughout the entire length of the 48-inch slider body. The interesting thing is that I still wanted to give it a try, and so I didn't return it. And what I found is that there are no longer any tight spots. So I don't know if it was just after a while of using it and messing around with it, if it sort of evened everything out just because I was running it back and forth so much. I don't really know. From some reviews that I've read, people have mentioned that it seems like sand or dirt can get into the track pretty easily, and then it could, mess up your shots a little bit. Definitely that can happen. You really need to make sure that you keep the track very clean. A little film secret is that you use Pledge on the big silver dolly tracks that you see a lot of Hollywood movies being shot with. I actually have not used Pledge on this track, so I cannot tell you if that will work 100% on the inside metal track here, but generally that does the trick because it cleans it up, lubes a little bit, and then you can really move your dolly or slider around a little bit better. So I have noticed occasionally that in certain shots it seems like when I get to certain parts it's a little bit loose, but it doesn't happen all the time. It could just be the actual tripod head that's doing that, but just be aware that this is quite a long span of track to be going on, so you do have to be very careful as you're moving it, especially since you're moving it by hand with this particular model. And if you do get any little movements kind of up and down at all, you can actually use your stabilizer feature on Final Cut 10 Pro or a stabilizing feature on Adobe After Effects or Adobe Premiere, and that can take out any little things that you have. I found that probably 85% of the shots, and I've taken hundreds of shots already with this, about 85% of them have no issues at all, and maybe 15% there's a few little minor things, but those actually do come out with the stabilizing function. Cool, so for $120, this is the slider that you'll get. It's 48 inches long, which is awesome. I would totally recommend that as a length to choose because you have just a lot more distance that you can travel with it. I'm going to rate this a 4 out of 5, and the only reason I'm doing that, because I've been pretty positive throughout this entire review, is just because the track was a little uneven, and I can totally see that being an issue if that had happened and hadn't worked itself out. So that might speak a little bit to the quality control of these particular sliders. So you might find some little quirks in them and things like that. So that's why I'm taking a star off. If you found this review informative, please give us a like below. Please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more informative tutorial, DIY, and product review videos. Thank you and happy shooting.